Good morning, church. Happy 4th of July weekend. On this Independence weekend, do you feel happy and optimistic and independent? Last Thursday, July 2nd, was the end of the first half of 2020. A first half that saw us with the coronavirus, Black Lives Matter marches, and we're starting a second half that doesn't promise to be any better. Yet, I'm optimistic. More optimistic than I was for past years of the celebration of the 4th of July. And the reason is this. In the first reading today for our scriptures, Zechariah says to the Jewish community that they should rejoice and be happy because the king is coming with peace. The language he uses, he talks about the king coming on the donkey rather than the war horse. That the king is coming with peace rather than power. Now, did he see something that the community didn't see? It's the same with Jesus. He uses the ideas of Zechariah when the king, Pontius Pilate, is coming into the city with his troops to the western gate, and he parodies him by coming in the eastern gate on a donkey, a nursing donkey with its foal. Peace rather than power. Now, was Jesus and Zechariah unaware of reality? Or did they see something about a compassionate God at work? And we have to ask ourselves the same question. When we look at society today with all its problems, do we see the Spirit of God at work? Where's God in our struggle? Now, I have to tell you that from my position of quarantining, I see our fellow citizens united, facing the realities that we have to deal with. I see them facing the reality of quarantining and yet going out in the streets to march with the Black Lives Matter movement. This virus is pandemic. I see it making us aware of our common humanity. No borders. It's hitting everyone. But then I have to ask myself the question, do we want to return to what it was like? Is the way we were living healthy? Were we blind to the systemic injustice in our society? Do black lives really matter? Does the fact that black and brown seem to be the major victims of the coronavirus just normal? Or is there a message from God to us as a society? Is the reality of the past something we want to return to? I believe, just as Zechariah did and Jesus did, that there's a compassionate God at work in our world. In the midst of all the upheavals. I believe there's a compassionate God calling us to live lives of compassion among our brothers and our sisters. And in the first 6 months of this year, I saw a people coming together compassionately to try to solve the problems of our society. And I believe, as we continue to work, that our world will be a more compassionate place when we all emerge from this quarantining caused by the coronavirus. Happy Independence Day.